Treatment Collective vlog. Today we're going to be talking about working with trauma clients in their defense mechanisms. It's really important when you're working with your clients that you understand that more than likely you are going to run into their defense mechanisms. Their defense mechanisms are there to help them to survive, to protect them. And luckily, more than likely, they're going to look like humor, anger and aggression, denial, just to name a couple. There are lots of different defense mechanisms and there's lots of different ways that they can show up for a client, but being able to understand and help clients identify them are really important. And then also being able to work with them are really important. A lot of times the problem with defense mechanisms is one, clients have kind of framed them as something negative. So like if anger and aggression is one that they might struggle with, then they've said, my anger is a problem, or I'm always angry all the time. And that may be true, but understanding it as a defense mechanism helps them to understand that it's something they can do about it. Another thing could be is that it limits the client from being able to heal. So it's kind of so strong and so powerful that the client can't get through that defense mechanism to actually get to healing or to be able to process the trauma that they've been through. And so anytime that I'm working with a client and we're working on defense mechanisms and helping them to kind of understand them, I've understood that it's really important to help the client understand their defense mechanisms before we try to do anything about them or change them in any way. When I can help a client to understand why their defense mechanisms are there and the role that they play, clients feel very empowered to be able to let that defense mechanism go or to replace that defense mechanism with something that's a little more helpful. And so those are the things that I would encourage you to do. Number one, helping a client identify their defense mechanisms and help them to reframe them as something that's positive and something that they've used to survive. Number two is to normalize those defense mechanisms. The more and more I can help clients to understand that is it a normal response for them to have these things on board to help them to survive, the better a client is able to accept it as something that's positive and to be able to reframe it and use it in a positive way. Another is the third thing I do is provide psychoeducation to assist the client in replacing that defense mechanism. So for instance, if they use humor to kind of protect themselves, then I may start teaching them coping skills to be able to manage some of the activation or the uncomfortable feelings that are coming up. Instead of kind of diverting to humor, then I help them to kind of notice those uncomfortable feelings and to be able to process those and move through those in a healthier way. So when you're able to identify and work with defense mechanisms in the treatment process, it's really helpful for clients to begin to understand who they are, why they operate the way they do, and what they can do about it in a more positive way. Hopefully this is helpful for you and you'll be able to use it in your treatment process. Take care.